Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with CNN News 18. I'm Shivani Gupta. India helped as many as 80 countries through its vaccine Maitri in the neighborhood especially, but also through mechanisms like Gavi and COVAX, which are mandated, of course, by larger global bodies. And now, as India goes through a devastating second COVID wave, other countries are coming in to help and give their help in this hour of need. Now, the US initially was very reluctant, especially with regards to opening up the kind of exports that are required for accelerating vaccine production in India. But after severe criticism both at home and in India, the US has come around. In the meantime, though, there was a rethink in India too. Is it important in a global pandemic to think about yourself first? Or is it important to think of the world as one family, the Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam policy and mantra that the Indian government talked about? Now, of course, most countries are coming to the aid of India, and they're also doing it, pointing it out that they're doing so because India stood with them when the Western countries were going through real bad times in the first wave or at the beginning of the pandemic. We'll come to that question in just a bit, and former Indian Foreign Secretary Kanwal Sibal will be joining us. But a quick check of how many countries, US and otherwise, are coming to India's aid. So the USA is shipping as many as 1,100 oxygen cylinders and 1,700 oxygen concentrators to India. Remember, oxygen continues to be the most crucial aspect, and in May too, the demand could rise up many-fold. Similarly, Russia is also sending in 20 oxygen production units and several ventilators. Countries from Europe like Romania, Italy, Germany, France have also promised oxygen concentrators, plants, etc. And countries like Singapore and Switzerland have also pledged support, especially with regards to the availability or the mechanisms that are required for oxygen support. So the big question we're asking today is that as all of this help begins to arrive in India, has the mantra of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam proven to be successful, or are there greater lessons to be learned as far as how things have transpired are concerned? First up, I want to go to our special guest. Former Indian Foreign Secretary Kanwal Sibal is joining us. Is all of this help arriving because India helped these countries first? Do you think that that is one of the biggest reasons why global leaders are pledging their support and expediting this help to India?
I don't think it's entirely that, although this is part of the equation. Certainly, India did help even the United States when Trump wanted hydrochloroquine and something else from us, and we supplied that. And on our own, and also because of the contracts we had signed with AstraZeneca, we supplied vaccines to many, many countries. Some presidents of countries had personally appealed to India, like the president of Brazil, some African countries. We gave them vaccines. We gave vaccines free of cost to our neighbors. So we discharge our international responsibility on the basis of Prime Minister's repeated statements that this fight has to be fought collectively and that vaccines should be available to all and at affordable prices. Now, the situation at present is that 80% of the vaccines have been used by the developed countries in their own geographies, whereas only about 20% of the available vaccines have been used in the rest of the world. And in terms also of people who have been vaccinated, the largest number are in Western countries, including the United States of America. But to believe that the slogan of all the world is a family is the real motivating slogan, I think it has to be tested, because generally people believe that multilateralism has failed, that there is vaccine nationalism, and that countries are first wanting to look after their own population. And this was America's initial response, that we want to vaccinate our own people first. And in fact, if we did that, it's good for the world. They changed this position because of pressure from the social media and from US Congress also, which is a good thing. But what they have done is only touches, let's say, the situation in a relatively small way, because India's needs are immense. And what America has done is actually to give us about 500 million extra, no, less than that maybe, of extra doses of AstraZeneca. No, I think the number is less. But beyond that, in terms of future production of vaccines by other companies, we'll have to rely on our own resources. With regard to availability of oxygen or oxygen concentrators and all that, that has been triggered by the very harrowing pictures that have been circulated all over the world of people waiting at hospitals or public distress. And shocking at that in terms of lack of availability of oxygen. Though, of course, strictly speaking, in terms of statistics, we have enough. We have enough oxygen of our own, except the problem has been of transportation from where the oxygen is produced to places like Delhi, which don't have any local supply of oxygen. So there has been a problem of mismanagement.
But Mr. Sibal, before I go across to that, I just want you to elaborate a little bit about US. Do you think the US correction was because it came across as selfish and not just self-centered? Nobody can hold you being self-centered at this time, but they came across as selfish instead, because it's not like they were being expected to give up something from their plate completely. Or was it also because other countries really left it behind in terms of pledging support, and therefore it also came across as tone deaf?
Well, I don't make much of a distinction between being self-centered and being selfish. If you are self-centered, you are being selfish. And America made no bones about it in their initial statements. In fact, they have said that they are holding a lot of vaccines, that should there be a second or third wave or whatever it is, they should have enough to inoculate, to vaccinate their population. And they're actually sitting on a large hoard of vaccines like AstraZeneca, for instance, which they're not going to use. So they have excess supplies. So whatever they're giving us is only a little bit of what they have. They're not even giving us all of the AstraZeneca vaccines that they are sitting on. That decision has not yet been finally.
Or begrudgingly opening raw material supplies.
On raw material supplies, actually India needs about 37 raw material supplies. And 14 of these are on the Defense Production Act of the United States. They have only now removed 2 of these from the DPA, Defense Production Act, to make available the raw material for producing Covishield. But we still have to work on them for actually lifting the ban, if you like, on the 12 other raw materials that we need, which will be absolutely necessary for producing Covovax whenever we are ready for producing them. So there's a lot of diplomatic work ahead.
So we have to keep all of this aid into perspective, isn't it? It's not like they're just doing, they're just opening up their doors completely to us. But you've also raised the issue of patents. Now, if these countries truly believe that the world is one family, or country premiers have said that, if India doesn't beat COVID, it doesn't matter, the global fight will be defeated. Do you believe that Western countries will really give up that control over patents? Because that will really prove how serious they are about, being global players in helping beat COVID.
Well, absolutely. You are absolutely right. They'll have to, I think, make a concession with regard to the proposal made by South Africa and India at the WTO to suspend for the moment temporarily the patent laws to allow the manufacture of these vaccines, but against payment. It's not as if manufacture will be without royalties. Royalties will be paid, but of course these companies will not be able to earn as much from the market as they would like to do. So to that extent, the resistance of the big pharma in the United States and in Europe would have to be broken. Mind you, it's not only the United States, it's also the big pharma of Europe which is resisting this. And they are a powerful lobby so far as the governments are concerned. And I think in America, US and Europe would be concerned that if they once yield on this, then it might be a thin end of the wedge. And tomorrow, if there are other global pandemics or epidemics or whatever, once a kind of a precedent has been created, then they'll come under pressure. And for them, IPRs are exceedingly important. And what is actually a bit surprising is that people like Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation, they are very strong on the question of full protection of intellectual property rights and patent laws and this and that. But what they want to do is to make finances available, like United States has done. They have made available, in principle, $4 billion in order to uh, make funds available for supply of vaccines to the poorer countries under Gavi or whatever else. Already they have disbursed 2 billion and another 2 billion they may in the future. So they are trying to find an indirect road which does not then actually mean any suspension of patents or intellectual property rights. But that I think is not the
In
answer.
other words, Mr. Sibal, there are some lessons for India to learn as far as how to deal with these major players who may say one thing but may do another, and whether India needs to watch out for its own interests first or be as giving as it was. Now, internally too, of course, you're aware there have been some criticisms, but I do have to thank you. Thanks a lot for joining us, and I would like to open up to the larger political debate. Our guests are also joining us. I want to quickly go across to Gopal Krishnan Agarwal of the BJP now joining us. Dr. Ajay Kumar of the Congress Party, and also Ashutosh Garg, who is the former board member of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, is also with us. So, Dr. Ajay Kumar, I come to you first. You know, majority of the 60 million jabs that India gave away were actually commercial contracts or contracts under COVAX. So they were obligations. Very small percentage was actually grants, and those grants went to smaller countries in our neighborhood. But do you still believe that the criticism that the Congress, for example, mounts on India for giving away vaccine jabs is for those commercial contracts? Or today, as we get aid from so many of these countries, has our policy been vindicated that we all have to fight together?
No, I think it's a very specious argument for the simple reason is you were unprepared. Nobody's going to give it to the world. You were unprepared and you placed the orders for the vaccine in January of 2021. If you had placed the orders for the vaccine in the April and March and had the stockpile, well, why would anybody have objection to helping other people? So the whole failure is because you made a mess out of this, that you not only made sure that the own citizens of India are dying, and you planned it badly and you sent it abroad. So one is that, and then you stopped sending. So there are two aspects to it. One is that you sent little, and then you made sure that everybody you publicized yourself, which is perfectly all right. But you didn't even complete your commitment to the rest of the world because you didn't plan 1 year ahead. The government of India only gave an order in Jan, and they only gave an order for 100 million doses.
But is it possible to plan 1 year in ahead? Would you at least concede that the situation is changing on a month-to-month basis?
Madam, one sec. You said you'll vaccinate all citizens. You are starting with 16 above, you're going 45. You said this way back last year. दवाई भी कड़ाई भी वैक्सीन भी जरूरी है ये सब भाषण they gave all this भाषण when everybody was started vaccinating. AstraZeneca was preparing, Pfizer was preparing, any of Bharat Biotech was preparing. We didn't give the order, but one more thing which I need you to, and I heard Mr. Sibal, and I want to tell you that you madam, you made a point that why isn't the IPR being dropped by the other countries in the world? Our own government of India is not dropping the IPR on Bharat Biotech and making sure he makes thousands of crores. Why aren't you giving this technology to all the vaccine manufacturers in India? Because you have the intellectual property. Why didn't you ask Mr. Modi and the government that the ICMR holds the patent for the Bharat Biotech? How can you ask the foreign countries to let go your IPR when you are not doing it in India? Why can't Hetero make it?
Okay, so you're saying why not expand the Bharat Biotech license itself?
Exactly. So
I take your point, sir. Let me take it to BJP. I take your point, sir. Let me go across to Gopal Krishnan. I want to ask you a twofold question. Of course, you can respond to what Dr. Ajay Kumar said. But first up, would you concede, Gopal Krishnan, that there has been a learning? The whole philosophy of vaccine Maitri and Vasudev Kutumbakam, it wasn't as well reciprocated. Of course, aid is arriving in India, but has it been totally successful?
Nothing at the inside. You can point out many gaps in the whole policy. But the thing is that the policy of this endemic control, nobody knew about the extent and the depth and the severity. So one thing we should all be clear. And everybody, state, center, everybody has to take his share of responsibility in this. And it cannot be just that only the states are responsible or only the central government are responsible or the health ministry is responsible. Everywhere there are certain gaps which are now coming out. One thing. Second important part is when the Congress puts every blame on the current government in the center, don't they realize that why this vaccination program earlier, which could have been taken fast tracked, but was not implemented because of their reluctance and their creating confusion about the vaccination and their leaders, even opposition leader like Akhilesh Yadav saying that we will not get the vaccine. All this created confusion and people were not coming. I know many people, the centers were just
Okay.
ideally sitting there. And, and always vaccination is in phased manner. You cannot just put everything in the first place, every order in the phased manner. Already central government has allocated and dispatched almost more than 16.33 crores of vaccination. Out of that, 15.33
No, I
crores
take your point. I
vaccination
take
have
your
been.
point. Let me take
Yeah.
that point about opposition states all being the ones who raised the questions on Covaxin. And today, Ajay Kumar, you're saying that take the control from Bharat Biotech. I mean, it's Congress rule states that refuse to use Covaxin.
is there's a lot of BJP guys who are giving ICU
Dr.
patients.
Kumar.
One sec. There are lots of BJP leaders giving cow urine to patients who are on ICU. There'll be a lot of people. I'm a doctor
What
myself.
is talking
Obviously,
about?
one stop. I'm a doctor myself. So when I keep saying that, look, there is no debate on the vaccination is critical and we should not have any. And anybody who says that otherwise it's inappropriate or not right. But here again, let's not divert the discussion.
But why didn't you tell this to your state, sir? Chhattisgarh and Punjab refused to use Covaxin.
Why don't you tell the Prime
Today,
Minister, why
everybody is
didn't he
coming
order
around, but
vaccine?
was this hesitancy
One
not increased by you?
One sec. What is the hesitancy not increased?
And
Look at the data
whole
in this
thing
thing. One
derails the
sec,
whole
madam.
process of
First
thinking.
question. No. Please
How
get the
many?
data correct.
It is
One by
demand
one,
and
please. One
supply
by one.
which has to be
Can I
maintained.
complete? Either I complete, ma'am. Please let me complete. First of all the Congress states or other
One by
states
one.
in India are vaccinating. Whether it is the opposition states or the other states, everybody is vaccinating. Where's the hesitancy? And what is the reason? Is it the hesitancy which is leading to the drop in vaccination? You're not able to. What is the vaccination yesterday and today? Zero. Why is it not happening? The question again is you're not providing vaccines and you're saying hesitancy.
No, it's not zero.
10%. Mr. Gopal Agarwal is saying 5% will be hesitant. 10% will be hesitant. Why aren't you not vaccinating 90% of the people?
Mr. Ajay Kumar, can I talk?
Okay, respond.
Can I ask one question? Yeah.
No, I thought they asked me.
No, Dr. Ajay Kumar, just one thing we need to clarify. Do you hold everything responsibility of the central government? Is it the unity of command that you want in the country, or you will have a open market economy also in place? Covaxin, COVID Shield, manufacturers, oxygen, all these things are private companies also.
So
Global players are also there.
So
do you understand the economics of the country running way, or you want everything to be responsible?
Okay, both of you, I request you to yield, please. You've made your points, but we are diverting a little bit from the issue that we were discussing. I just want to bring in Mr. Ashutosh Garg also. What is the larger lesson, Mr. Garg, that we have learned from the Gavi exercise? Of course, COVAX is something we had to do. Gavi is something we are partners with, but we also gave away some vaccines. Do you believe in hindsight there are some lessons to be learned, or is this India's philosophy? And we stood by our philosophy and we should have no shame in it.
Shivani, thank you for inviting me and thank you for giving me a chance to speak. Let's look at one or two very key points that have been discussed in the last 20 odd minutes. As far as India giving away vaccines are concerned, I think that was an absolutely critical requirement for the world. It has been repeatedly said, no one is safe till everyone is safe. And the whole purpose of Gavi setting up its COVAX facility was to make sure there is equity in the distribution of vaccines. Remember that in the first month and a half, there were 130 countries which had not received a single dose of vaccine. And it is our own same set of people who are arguing just now, who are saying that India must be seen as the large country. We manufacture 60% of the world's vaccine, and therefore we must give them away. And I think that was a very, very wise thing to have done. The second part Some of the earlier speakers have gone and made, they just, politicians, I guess, have far too much knowledge. So they just say anything they feel like. Someone just went and said, why don't we pick up the IPR of Bharat Biotech and give it to other countries? Do they even realize the amount of sensitivity that is involved in manufacturing vaccines? You just cannot pick up. It's not sweets that are being made in one little factory. You pick it up and give it to 20 factories and say, okay, now go and start giving them out to every child on the street. I mean, these are very, very highly regulated products. And God forbid something goes wrong in the manufacture somewhere else. This is live virus that you're putting inside people. You could have a much, much bigger problem. Number three, I think somewhere along the line, we just cannot, as a nation, we just cannot seem to come together. I mean, it is important. Yes, we are all struggling right now, but we are all in this together. There is no need for everyone's knives to be eyed. There is no need for everyone to continuously play the I told you so game. Let's all close ranks. Let's all start working together. And we have overcome much, much bigger problems in the past. We will overcome this as well. If there is a shortage of vaccines, people are working on getting it together, but let's all work together. Let us not just start going against the government, against a few leaders. But what also concerns me is, where are all our political leaders from the ruling party? Why are they not out there talking to the people? Why are they not there giving messages of everything that is being done? I think these are all things that have to be taken into account, rather than take a very parochial view from one side or the other.
Shivani, I just want to say...
I'll give 30 seconds to all sides. Yeah, Gopalji, go ahead. 30 seconds,
Shivani,
please.
I appreciate. And I would just like to mention that the PIB, the Health Ministry, their Twitter handle and the website and the Prime Minister's mygov.in is giving every information. People should go. We are retweeting them, also putting comments. But there are certain elements who are creating more confusion. Vaccine will be provided in a phased manner. One day you cannot provide every vaccine. So there are certain issues with
I agree with you, and the policy that has been liberalized now has also happened because the states asked for it. So nobody can now say, why you put the burden on states, Ajay Kumar, because Congress ruled states asked that please liberalize this, let us control, let us procure on our own. Final comments, Dr. Ajay.
First of all, I want to correct Mr. Ashutosh that I spent 30 years of my life doing drug discovery. And I said IPR transfer to companies in India. So please get your facts correct, sir. I take great umbrage in your ability to misquote.
Okay, go ahead.
I take it very seriously, because I spent I would definitely tell him that we have done significant work on drug discovery. And I don't need someone to give me a lecture. I said the IPR to transfer to Indian companies. And I know it's a live attenuated vaccine. And I do know about the mRNA vaccine, Mr. Ashutosh. So please don't lecture me on drug discovery.
No,
and I would really request you to check my background. No, I take great umbrage.
Sir, I'm running out of time.
Mr. Ashutosh, I didn't interfere when you spoke. I would request you to extend the...
No, I will not get a chance to respond to you because there's no time.
No, sir, I'm sorry. I've run out of time. You've made your exception to what he said known. I've run out of time. I do appreciate all of you for joining us. Our focus is not really the vaccine policy today. Our focus is whether the world has come to the aid of India and whether that has been sufficient. Will India follow the path of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or are there any lessons to be learned? I have to thank my guests, but before I leave, I do have to remind everyone that this is a battle that all of us have to fight together, and protecting yourself is your biggest duty right now. So things like masking, double masking, social distancing, washing your hands, these things work. Please follow this and you can keep yourself safe. We in the media have also not been left untouched as far as this virus is concerned. And as I end this show, I pay a tribute to my colleague Hemant, young man who passed away due to COVID-19 infection.